The high-level military group, made up of retired generals and defense officials from Europe, the US, Australia, Latin America, and other countries, found that Israel not only abided by the laws of armed conflict, but far surpassed their requirements. The report concluded that armies of the world would be rendered far less effective if they were forced to operate under the same restriction as the IDF during last year's Gaza war. Our findings were diametrically opposed to the UN report, said Richard Kemp, one of the document's authors and the former commander of British forces in Afghanistan. A central issue in all of these reports is that of civilian casualties. One of the problems the report found was that the UN accepted Hamas's figures for combatants versus civilian casualties. The figures were put at a ratio of close to 70% non-combatants of the 2,000 or so deaths, compared to the dramatically lower 50% that Israel claims. The high-level military group blamed the vast majority of civilian casualties on Hamas. They further went on to say that Hamas deliberately instituted a policy to cause as many Palestinian civilian deaths as possible in order to wage a PR war against Israel. The report also found Hamas's numbers to be rife with inconsistencies, such as the inclusion of duplicate names, incorrect ages, combat-related deaths caused by Hamas or its affiliated organization. The report found that Israel adopted a far higher level of restraint than any other army in the world. They noted that Israel's experience carries important strategic, tactical, and operational lessons for other democratic nations' armies, battling some of the most brutal and dangerous adversaries since the Second World War. During the Gaza war last year, Hamas at times forcibly prevented the media from taking and publishing photographs of wounded fighters, only allowing pictures of wounded civilians, the report found. Hamas would also prepare the scene after Israeli strikes, removing weaponry and fighters before allowing journalists into the area in order to make it appear as though only civilians were hit in the attacks. The high-level military group blamed not only the terror organization for perpetrating these acts of lies, but also the international media for not being more forthright about the clearly distorted and censored view of Gaza that they were reporting. The high-level military group report has been largely ignored by the Western media. They much rather continue to defame and disseminate information based on numbers and claims made by Palestinian terrorist groups. The tragic deaths of innocent Palestinians are a direct result of a warped Palestinian agenda that wishes to sacrifice innocent civilians for their holy cause of destroying the state of Israel and the Western way of life. For the Rebel.Media, I'm Igal Hecht.